I know my hair is a bit fucked up, but look at that. Look at that. That is... I've been growing this out since winter of last year, since like December. Actually, no, since January is when I cut it. And that is about 7 months of what my hair looks like. Yeah, of course, a lot of stuff has happened to it over the years. And I did trim my beard a bit, so. But I am back. This is why I wear hats. And I am back with AEW reviews. It's gonna come out late because I decided to record it, and I didn't feel like watching it live. Okay, I wanted to play some Call of Duty. I wanted to play some COD. I wanted to get some games in. I wanted to get Black Ops 4 in. Jesus Christ, Black Ops 4 is really fun for me. I enjoy it. Black Ops 4 is honestly really fun to play. But AEW Fighter Fest Night 2 ending what was a... I don't know what to say, because this is my first time actually watching AEW in full like this since last year, and it felt weird to me. I haven't really watched AEW as much as I could because either it was on Friday, it was on after SmackDown, or it was on during SmackDown, or it was during the time when I was working. So, I just didn't feel interested in it, and the fans just made me tune out of AEW, which is one of the other reasons why I didn't feel like, which is one of the reasons why I haven't tuned into AEW. Although the product is been so-so. In my opinion, it's been so-so. And tonight was one of those nights where it was so-so. It started with the Labors of Jericho, Chapter 1, with Jericho and Shawn Spears, and Shawn Spears was able to use a chair while Jericho was not. I will say this, Jericho is still amazing in the ring and still work at the pace of current era wrestling, as he can still go at a great pace, and this match was no exception. He worked a really good match with Shawn Spears. I think this match wasn't too bad, and it worked well in the story, and it was a pretty solid ending. Although the whole chair to the head, and then afterwards just hitting Shawn with the Judas effect, I still think is the worst finisher I've ever seen since Six Move of Doom, John Cena. And then MJF, he was on commentary throughout the entirety of the match. Of course, being the heel that he is, one of the best heels in the wrestling business. Second best heel, because now Corbin is not really a heel no more. Turning face eventually. So, it was a nice match. It was a nice little match, and then MJF came off commentary afterwards, claimed that if anyone in the inner circle interferes again, then the match is off, and then gave the second Labor of Jericho a no disqualification match, a no rules match, which will later be reiterated on commentary. And his next opponent is Brian freaking Gage. Oh boy. Oh dear. Now, I've never watched a Brian Gage match, but I've watched Brian Gage highlights. Dude is a deathmatch insane. Dude is a deathmatch psycho. Oh my god. He is freaking insane. He's done so much. And this, oh my god. No rules at Fight for the Fallen. That match is going to be ridiculous. We got a later segment in the show which saw Jericho saying if MJF's going to bring the most sadistic, most violent man in wrestling, he's going to bring out the Paymaker. So you're going to get the Paymaker versus the most sick son of a bitch in the world. Oh, Jesus, help me. We got a promo package from Miro, which will sort of stated or kind of really made a challenge for anyone for the TNT Championship at Homecoming in 2 weeks. We then got Frankie Kazarian versus Doc Gallows, which was, I believe it was... One thing I will say is the time limits do make matches in wrestling really nice to watch. Actually, no, the match won't go too long, but it won't go too short, and it fits well with a story and creates a bit of drama, and the pace is steady. But it should have got a little more screen time, is what I would probably say for every other match, because the commercial breaks can really ruin the pace of a match, and this one showed. It ruined the pace of the match, and it was all right, though. It was nothing special and ended how you thought it would. With an interference from Carl, and then Doc hitting a slam, getting Kazarian 1, 2, 3, and then he got hit with a magic killer. And, Don and Kenny Omega came out for a promo segment, and then Hangman Page came out afterwards, with Hangman Page getting into the ring, confronting Doc, Carl, Kenny with a 3-on-1, and then it turned 2-on-1, and then Dark Order came out for the save, which, sets up Fight for the Fallen really nice. I say this, but I will give you a little bit of a side note. The whole Kenny Omega with the mutton chops and the hair, the mutton chop facial hair, like it's like a parody of Triple H from like 2005 to 07, and it's like honestly so childish. It's one of the things that I really hate about AEW, because they just dig on WWE for no reason. They are their own company. They need to be thriving off of their own personal branding, not taking cheap shots at WWE over and over again. It's the same thing they've been doing with the Bucks, with Drip God, and with Tony Khan continuously coming out and cutting promos and just digging at WWE for no reason, when WWE don't even do nothing with AEW at all. They don't say a damn word. They just go on with their business. Sure, their product may be bad at times, and really bad, very shit, sometimes shit, but they don't take digs at AEW. They don't do nothing with AEW because they're their own thing. They do their own thing. AEW continues to take the name of WWE so that way they can build themselves up for literally no reason and take shots at them when they're not even doing anything. They don't even feel like responding, because why? Why would they? But other than that, this Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page for the AEW Championship is my favorite thing in AEW right now. It's the best built storyline in WWE in wrestling right now, and I seriously can't wait for that 10-man elimination tag match at Fight for the Fallen. And honestly, I do hope that I get the Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page match, and Hangman Page gets the payback that he deserves, gets the rightful justice that he feels that is deserving of him winning the AEW title from his old tag team partner, old friend, now turned rival and bitter enemy. It would be great. We got a Brian Cage promo saying with Team Taz start having a little bit of a celebration in Charlotte, and Brian Cage saying that he will be there. Nothing much there. Wheeler versus Yuta, Philly boy, versus Darby Allin. So good match. But I did love the whole Orange Cassidy and Sting moment right there, where the two just had just one of the funniest exchanges ever. I swear, a lot of people still don't get Orange Cassidy, but Orange Cassidy is my favorite person in all of wrestling that's not Roman Reigns or Jeff Hardy, or even, one of those two. Honestly, Orange Cassidy is one of the best goddamn characters in wrestling, period. Slacker wrestler that just don't give no damn and don't give any effort unless he feels necessary, and just goes out there and just it just has a comedy. It just has so much comedy. It's so great. And this was no different. The whole exchange that he had with Sting honestly had me cracking up. It was so hilarious to see. And the crowd being invested in it. That's why wrestling is so nice. And then the Blade came out and then attacked Orange Cassidy with brass knucks. We got a promo package for Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer, showing their brutality in and out in the ring. Then we got Hikuleo, who was part of New Japan. He was in the building for the IWGP US title match, which we will get to later. We got the AEW Women's World title match between Britt Baker and Nyla Rose. DC versus Pittsburgh. I like that for myself because I'm a Pennsylvania guy, and I love DC because I went to DC not that long ago. It was a good match with some decent pacing, but there was a confusing pinfall spot with the fans getting confused, thinking it was a 3 count. It wasn't a 3 count. It was just really wasn't that. It really wasn't planned well. It really wasn't executed well. There was a nice little cheat and steal moment, but it was sloppy in some places. And it sort of affected the match up until the very end with Britt Baker retaining with the lockjaw, which wasn't really bad. Really wasn't a bad. It was a good match, I thought, for women's standards. I mean, Britt Baker is the best character in AEW that's in the women's division. Honestly, so much improvement has come from the past 2 years that she's been in the company. Since 2019, she went from this bland sort of person that was just there to now the most over, most charismatic, and she is still a little bit she still needs a little bit work in the ring, but she's great on the mic. She can cut an amazing promo, and she's well deserving of the AEW Women's title, for sure. And I hope she does get a nice little long reign for quite a while. We got a press conference between FTR and Santana and Ortiz for their tag team match at Fight for the Fallen. Nothing really at stake, I don't think so. FTR says they got respect for the tag team as wrestlers, but don't have respect for them as people. And then Santana just showcased his mother, and the struggle that they had to go through just for them to live. And then, Dax went on to say that he respects God, his family, and pro wrestling, and they would just want to kick Santana and Ortiz's ass. I'm ready for that match, too. We then got Andrade's announcement, but first we got a little bit of surprise with Chavo Guerrero making his AEW debut, which was nice to see. And it was great all around. Of course we remember you, Chavo. You're one of the best luchadors in all of wrestling, and from a classic, a legendary name in the wrestling business, the Guerrero family. Of course, Vicky is in AEW, so you are well known. You still are well known, not just from your WWE run, but your TNA run too. You were great in the indie circuit as well. You had nice runs in between. You are one of the most legendary luchadors in the world. But, Death Triangle afterwards then came out. Pac doesn't know who Andrade thinks he is. We're talking about them last week. And then, Andrade cut his promo back and forth. There was a back and forth between the two with Andrade basically trying to convince Rey Fenix and Penta to join him in his circle, in his little group. It was a little bit nice, a little bit here and there, but my thoughts are really like this. There's a reason why Andrade was paired with Zelina Vega to hide his mic skills, because we just witnessed it on a live scale. Andrade is not really good on the mic, and that's really just as honest as I can possibly be. He felt odd to me while speaking and cutting his promos, and Chavo did his best, but it really wasn't that great either. I mean, Spanish is his main language. I'm not going to slack him for not knowing as much English and his English being broken. That's not really it. It's just when he cuts into the crowd, it just feels so empty. It feels so empty because the crowd really wasn't reacting as much. So not when, even when Pac was speaking, when Pac was speaking and when Penta and Rey was speaking, it felt like they were getting it. But when Andrade spoke, it just felt like they weren't behind him. And that's why Zelina was such an important role to him. That's why he was so successful in WWE, even though he wasn't as successful, because he had somebody to hide the mic skills and let him do the work in the ring. Case in point. So a lot of people think that Andrade's going to thrive in AEW, which I believe he will in ring-wise, but on the mic, he really needs a backup. He really needs somebody to help him with the mic, help him on the mic. We had a little segment that went down with Jurassic Express with the Hardy family office. They attacked Marco Stunt, and then Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy came out for a save along with Christian Cage. We got a 6-man tag match for that at Fight for the Fallen. We got the Factory promo with QT Marshall, and they say they'll apologize for pouring shake over Tony's head. Whatever. We got The Blade versus Orange Cassidy, which, let me be 100% honest here. I still don't care about The Blade or The Butcher or the money. When it was just Allie, I cared because she's actually really good in the ring. Like, when she was in Impact Wrestling, she was really good. And even in her little times in AEW, she's been pretty good in the ring too. It's just that her character has just been flipped back and forth, along with the Butcher and the Blade. They went from heel to Allie, then leaving them for a bit, and then Allie suddenly joining back with no explanation. It just feels weird. It just feels so weird, and I still don't get it. I still don't understand it. And that's why I don't really like it as much. There was a little brutal spot with a gut wrench suplex on the freaking top turnbuckle. That was so brutal, and Orange Cassidy sold that really well throughout the entirety of the match, all the way to the very end. But overall, the match felt dead to me, even when Chris Statlander got involved, and then Orange Cassidy won, and that was pretty much it. Then he hit Orange Punch on the Blade with the brass knucks. Whatever. We got Fight for a Fallen Breakdown, AEW Homecoming, Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes. The promo package for that showcased what the match is going to look like, or what they've been through over the past several weeks. And then we finally got the Texas Deathmatch 2, Moxley versus Lance Archer. This was shorter than their match at New Japan, and it was more. The only reason why it was more brutal because there was more weapon spots. When it was in New Japan, back in Wrestle Kingdom in 2020, I believe it was Wrestle Kingdom 14, it felt like it was more of like a wrestling kind of match. Still with the brutality, but when it comes to AEW, they bring the brutality and don't put in the wrestling in it. They'll put a little bit of spots in there, here and there, like the choke slam on the goddamn barbed wire. Jesus Christ. But then you have fucking forks inside people's heads and stabbing them in the freaking head with a goddamn fork. And then John biting Lance's head while bleeding. Yeah, this was brutal. Like, it was brutal. It was very brutal. Not better than the match at New Japan, but it was still a good match. It was still a nice match, with Lance winning the IWGP US title from Jon Moxley, which will probably write him off for a little bit while he takes care of while he and Renee enjoy their child, or enjoy a little bit of vacation time period, family time. And then we got Lance Archer versus Hikuleo for next week at Fight for the Fallen. The dude is huge. Oh, he is very huge. I will say that. 6'8", and I didn't think it was, like, looking at him, he's tall. He's really tall. Like Vince McMahon kind of tall. But overall, that match is set to be a hoss match. I think it's going to be a hoss battle. Overall, it was an alright show, though, with some decent matches and segments, but the main event was really the cherry on top of a barbed wire blood cake of death. Oh my god. Fight for the Fallen looks pretty nice, though, and, I'm going to be reviewing that after it airs. I probably won't watch it live like I did with this AEW episode, but because I really wasn't invested in the show at the very beginning, even though Chris Jericho and Shawn Spears did have a nice match, but overall I really wasn't invested in the show. I really wasn't tuned in. Some people will say that this AEW was really good. For me, it wasn't. It was elitely average. That is what I would go with. 3 out of 5. It was elitely average. It was pretty nice, but really wasn't as, newsworthy or anything, something to be invested in for, like, the long haul. That's pretty much it. I don't really got nothing else to say. It was a pretty so-so Wednesday night Dynamite with some pretty in-between things here and there. I don't got nothing else to say but like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your choice, though. I will let you be the judge of AEW tonight. Leave your comments down below what you thought of the show. And also, are you invested in Fight for the Fallen? And I also will be getting back to New Japan and NWA next week. Because I know, actually, you know what? I think Grand Slam is this Sunday. I think, is this Sunday. So I'm probably going to post a prediction video, and I will watch the show after it airs. I'm going to find the link to the show because I don't have NJPW World or New Japan World. I don't know what it's called. It doesn't matter. I don't have their streaming service, so I won't be able to watch it until like after it airs, and I won't be able to watch it until I can find a link to a website, so that way I can watch it. But first of all, Kota Ibushi, I hope he gets better. Illness that's not COVID related, of course, but you gotta hope that he gets better. He gets healthy. He gets the care that he needs, because his match with Shingo Takagi, who knows what his replacement is gonna be? Who's his replacement gonna be? Interesting enough, but that's my thoughts on AEW tonight. I hope you all have a great day. Had a good day. Have a good day tomorrow. Have a good day today, tomorrow, the next day, in between, for the next several years, and ongoing. Get vaccinated. Stay safe. Follow protocols if you're not vaccinated. Follow all the guidelines needed, because we got the Delta variant coming around, and we got a new variant that just came. That's starting to spread as well. The Delta variant is one that's spreading very vigorously, and cases are rising. So please get vaccinated. I don't really understand what's the problem with not being vaccinated. It's really going to help in the long haul of getting things back to a better normal than what it was, instead of going back to what we were last year in the beginning of 2020, because we don't want to go back to that time period. No, we don't. Nobody does. So please get vaccinated. Please follow all guidelines. If you still have to wear a mask, wear your mask. It benefits everybody in the end. So I hope everyone has a good day, good night, love, peace, and blessings all around. And I will see you all maybe tomorrow or Friday for either Impact Wrestling or SmackDown.